All right, Sharon, I've got 5 o'clock.
All right. Call the meeting to order and roll call, please.
Armstrong,
Here.
Aiken,
Here.
Lorette,
Here.
Meyer,
Here.
Sagan, and
Here.
Okay.
Okay, public comment. Kevin, is there anyone joining us?
There is no attendees right now.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move ahead then. Approval of minutes of December 10th, 2020. Any questions, comments?
I noticed the typo.
Yes, Sharon caught that again.
Oh,
That's
what was it?
my problem from when I transpose, take Wendy's thing
Oh.
and throw it into my template. I always forget to change the header. So,
Oh,
so I
okay.
changed that, and I also changed the spelling of Jill, your last name. I think
Okay,
in there.
I was
I
going to
think
mention that
you're
one.
Jill Meter, but now you're Jill Meyer again.
Oh, sorry.
So
Okay,
we're good.
anybody want to make a motion to approve that?
This will move, Pam.
Pam,
I'll second.
okay.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a motion to approve preliminary December 2020 vendor summary in the amount of $112,045.74.
And once again, we'll approve this again in either February or March, depending on when the credit card statement comes in. Because there's still outstanding bills, because the credit card statement ends, I think, on the 23rd. So we won't pay that until January, but it'll be on the 2020 budget. So that number will get bigger.
Right. Any comments, questions? If not, a motion is in order.
I so move. This is
Second.
Meyer seconds.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Consider a motion to approve the Oak Creek Public Library mobile hotspot policy.
So this is a piggyback onto, as we try more and more to just make sure that all of as many services as possible, we can offer to our patrons remote. And we were talking about it in December, the staff and I, and really the last thing that we can't offer any type of service is computer access if they can't come in the building. This is something we've talked about for a while, and we just haven't moved forward with it. But what we're looking at doing is purchasing 2 mobile hotspots from T-Mobile. And so these hotspots are actually, they're specifically for libraries. We pay a monthly data fee we're unlimited data, but then we have the ability, first of all, after it checks it out, if there's any troubleshooting that happens, the hotspot actually has an 800 number that goes directly to T-Mobile Sprint. So they do the troubleshooting. And then if the patron doesn't return the item, we actually can just call them and they turn the data off until the item has been returned to us. So both Franklin and NPL have been using this for several years. NPL actually circulates, I think at the last meeting, they said they had 500 that they in their collection that they circulate. So the policy that we made is basically Franklin's policy. We tweaked it slightly. You have to be 18 years old to check it out. You can't put it on hold. It's a first come, first serve. While we're still in curbside, we'll put it on our curbside request form. So if there's one available, they can request it that way. It comes in a hard-sided case, so we ask that it get returned to our library, but it can go in the book drop. it can be returned. We're going to set it up so that it can be returned by a curbside. So it's just another way for us to another service that we can offer patrons while we're closed, and see if it's something we want to continue even after we reopen.
Sounds good. Anybody have any comments, questions?
I'm just curious.
Oh, go
Sorry.
ahead.
I'm
Go
just
ahead,
curious. It says that they must follow the procedure, and it says something about they can't view obscene material. Is there a way that T-Mobile tracks that for us, or is that an honor system?
That's an honor system.
Okay.
We can't, they don't filter it in any way because we don't currently filter our other computers.
Okay.
At least
That's
that's
my
my
question.
understanding, but I can definitely double check with them and verify that. Like I said, that was just my understanding, but I will double check.
That was my question as well.
We more put it in the policy to discourage people from doing
Right.
that.
One, it's probably, I guess, more acceptable in their own home with the hotspot versus in the library.
Right.
Is there a limit to the data that they get to use?
There is not.
Okay.
So it's an unlimited data plan for us. It's $39 a month
Per hotspot.
per device. Yeah.
And are they, if somebody checks it out for 7 days and returns it, are they immediately eligible to take another one if there's no waiting list, or is there a kind of a?
Yes. So once we get back into in-person services, the way that we anticipate it working is that they'll actually be on a shelf near the circulation desk so that you would be able to right away see if they're there, but they'll be by the circulation desk so that they can't walk off on their own. But so, yeah, if you return it and you walk in and the other one is sitting there, you could take that one. You won't be able to take the one that you had again. Like, we're not going to check that one in right away and just hand it right back to you, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the other one will have to be sitting there, because otherwise one person could just constantly be saying, well, this one's available. Well, this one's available, and just keep taking it back.
Is there a waiting list like other materials, or is it first come, first serve for these?
Right now, we're going to try first come, first serve.
Okay.
That's the way that they do it at Franklin, and it seems to work fairly well. But we know that we're going to have to tweak it as we find out how it works for us. But there won't be like, you can't put it on hold in the catalog.
Okay.
Or renew it? You can't renew it?
No, you can't renew it either.
Is there a, excuse me, is there a contract?
We signed a 3-month contract, and then it's just month to month after that.
Okay. But that's pretty generous.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, like I said, it's specifically set up for libraries. That's what the McFliss also actually participates in it too. They have several hotspots that they lend to the member libraries if we want to go out and do registrations or want to go off site with our computers. Again, like Milwaukee Public, that's what they've been doing during working at home. A lot of their hotspots are actually at home with their employees so that they can access the internet and work from home. So.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions? If not, a motion is in order.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Update on library services due to COVID-19.
So I sent you guys an email about a week ago. As you know, the City Hall front counter is currently closed. So what we're looking at right now is to not reopen the building until City Hall opens their front counter. I've talked briefly with the city administrator. They haven't set a deadline for when that, or a date for when that's going to reopen, but I continue to talk with him. So right now I told my staff to schedule as if we're doing curbside till at least February 1st. So that seems to be, that's 2 weeks out. And then all of my staff does have a secondary schedule for if we go back to in-person. The big thing when we go back to in-person is that we're going to keep the hours where we're at, where we open at 10, but we're going to go back to being open till 4 on Saturdays. So it'll be 10 to 8 Monday through Thursday, 10 to 6 on Friday, and 10 to 4 on Saturday. And just keeping the 10 o'clock time gives my staff, since now just the time to deal with the quarantine materials and cleaning everything and wiping everything down. So I would like, my proposal is to revisit, go back to opening at 9 once we start having those in-person programs again. Because so many of our programs start or did start at 9:30. So we'll want to revisit it then. But for the time being, 10 o'clock seems to work pretty well. We're getting about between 80 and 100 curbside pickups a day. So that's been really good. Normally it really, you can tell that we're real busy from about 10 to noon, and then it drops down. And then from about 1 to 3, we're busy again. And then from 5 to 6, and then like 7 after 6:30 or so, it really ebbs down. But that gives the staff time to put books away and check things in and get ready for the next day. So that's been working out pretty well. Like I said, we're at the point now where we basically, all of our services we'll do remotely. Since the new year, we've had, I'll call it a run, but it's, a couple people a day of making photocopies. So they call us when they arrive. We bring a bag out to them. They put their items in the bag, or if they're used to it now, they've been putting their items in their own bag, hanging it on the hook. We bring it inside, we make the photocopies, or we scan it to them. We email them the copy, or we bring their copies out. It's worked out really well. I actually shared an email with Sharon earlier today about a woman who talked about how easy it was for her to do the printing because they often have printer problems at home. And so she appreciates, I'll just read it to you. Thanks for explaining an effortless approach to curbside pickup for printing. I was able to easily do this on the library website and pick up my items for my son. You were super friendly and helpful, and you and your staff made our night. He will be able to complete paperwork tonight and turn in his application tomorrow right after work. Also, glad to have such ease with curbside texts and communication. This was a relief since we have been using the library from time to time for printing pre-COVID, as we occasionally have printer problems at home. I appreciate all the library staff and services offered during the pandemic, as I'm sure this has been challenging to all of you as well. Stay safe and keep doing the amazing job you do. I can tell you are really good at what you do and you really enjoy your job in helping people. Kudos. So that was one of our librarians, so I thought that was really nice. And I'm glad
Very
she
nice.
shared that with me.
Bravo to all of you.
Yes. Jill, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Do you have any idea how many libraries in McFlus are open right now to the public?
So I know the ones that are closed.
Okay.
Right now, the ones that are closed are Shorewood, Whitefish Bay, North Shore, Brown Deer, and all of Milwaukee Public.
All of Milwaukee Public.
All Milwaukee Public. Milwaukee Public, as of last Thursday, they're making plans to reopen next Tuesday, to reopen their buildings. And Shorewood is looking at reopening its building on Monday. But I haven't heard anything about Brown Deer, Whitefish Bay, or North Shore reopening.
Okay. I was just curious. Thank you.
The other thing, and the patron mentioned this in her email, but on January 4th, we started texting, the ability that you can text when you've arrived, and that's really worked well. I'm really pleased with the staff who came up with that idea, because DPW changed out the signs for us. There's a different phone number that they can call. If they call it, it forwards to our curbside pickup phone, or they can text it, and then it just pops up on our monitors and the staff can interact with the person. So I think that's been really good. So I'm real happy with that too.
Good.
So that's where we're at.
Very good. Moving on to budget and revenue and all the good stuff.
So we kind of talked about this before. With everything else going on, we're doing very well in terms of the 2020 budget. Obviously, again, there's still some outstanding, but if my math is correct, we have about $70,000 that will be added to the accumulated surplus next year. So most of that is because we haven't gone through office supplies, postage, processing supplies, all of those things that we would normally go through, printing and copying, all of those budget items, which we would have normally gone through, we just haven't hit our budget on those items. So, again, we're not taking in any revenue right now, other than, so we'll get a e-commerce revenue check at the end of this month. And then once we reopen, then obviously we'll start taking in more money as well.
Very good.
Let me just go to the staff report.
Sure.
All right, so there were a couple of things that I just wanted to point out from the staff report. Let me bring them up. So just a couple of highlights from the staff report. This year, I am serving as the chair of the Library Directors Council. So that means that I am running all of the LDAC meeting, the monthly LDAC meetings. We're also meeting the third Thursday of every month, just very briefly to do COVID updates. And then I will attend all of the MCFLS Board of Trustees meetings, their monthly meeting, and just give a update and be available to answer any questions that they might have from the system directors. Most of you probably don't know this gentleman, but I know Sharon does. Karen, you might. But the IT specialist for MCFLS passed away unexpectedly on December 30th. So MCFLS only has a staff of 5 people. And so to lose one of their full-time people was, I mean, it would always be a shock, but so they're really scrambling, but they're doing a great job of coming up with ideas of how to fill in the gaps until they can hire a replacement. But yeah, it was a real shock. He was only 56 years old. So that was, like I said, quite a shock for all of us. On happier news, we added Nintendo Switch games. So those got added to the collection when we came back from Christmas. And then we are going to purchase, they're real popular right now, so we're going to purchase some more. And then the staff also bought a new die cut machine, which is very exciting for us. So it's the different shape cutout. So one of the things that we're going to look at next, and this has to do with the email that I believe you all received from the foundation, is that what we had planned to do for the light bulb lab in 2020 is no longer going to work because of the pandemic. So now the management team and I have started looking at what does that space look like post-pandemic. I don't feel like we're going to have the opportunity to go back to what we had envisioned, which is a bunch of people in that room using those resources. And so we're trying to figure out what that room looks like and what kinds of services we can put in that room or we can provide that still follow basically social distancing guidelines. And then we had the winter reading challenge. So it only ran for 3 weeks. We had about 30 participants, which honestly is pretty average for a winter reading program. Winter reading programs are never very well attended, but it gives them something to do over break. And then Leah, one of our adult librarians, actually decorated the windows in the kids department. And so they actually looked really cute, especially with the Drexel Town Square lights. She made a nice little winter scene. So it fit in really well with the lights. So that's what we've been up to.
Very good. Anybody have any comments, questions? No, if not, Any items for future agendas? No. Okay, then we can adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, Carol.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. See you next month.
All right, everybody have a good night.
You too.
You too. Thanks.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.